What it do, flight crew? FTC. Flight team stand up. Why you lie is July. Hey man, you see your boy is on vacay currently, man, but the grind don't stop, won't stop. I know your boy been gone for 3 to 4 days. Live streams continue the following day when I upload this video, man. But finally, I think I got the settings right, man. On my away setup, when your boy, if it's looking like this, no green screen, that means 9 times out of 10, your boy is on vacay, man. Now, comment down also below what I should say for the August quote. If we don't have an August quote, we don't got to force it. August, the birthday month. August 7th up in this bit, man. What y'all don't get me? Nah, I'm just playing. Don't get me nothing, man. I don't want nothing but y'all love and support and all that, man. That's all I ask for, and just continue to entertain y'all lovely FTC brothers and sisters. Another thing, can y'all do me a favor? Let me know how the quality sounds with everything from the audio to the mic. You know the quality of the camera and everything. Like, make sure everything's a sync. If everything is a go, it will be set up perfectly for me to be able to like even stream at my away setup using this computer and stuff like that. I went in and finally got a chance to just basically, long story short, I went in on just like spinning on this laptop. So it's supposed to be very, very high power to, be able to like handle using OBS and stuff like that. I've been having some technical difficulties with my last, not desktop, but the computer laptop I was using. It would glitch out too much. So hopefully, man, this would go. We got Jimmy High Roller. This is the only way
ranking NBA players is useless.
Check it out.
But it's also really fun. Every NBA fan at some point has created their own ranking. It's like our official pastime at this point.
Yep.
And with the game as data-driven and awards and accomplishments as absolute as the NBA has, you'd think ranking players would be a fairly simple task. But despite the countless efforts to make a flawless, coherent all-time ranking of NBA players, no one can seem to get it quite right. Some players rank too high, others too low, some not even ranked at all. Make any of these mistakes and your ranking will immediately get dismissed. The latest attempt of this fleeting endeavor came last week from Bleacher Report when they released their top 100 NBA players.
Bleacher Report done woke up everybody on that one, bro.
A ranking that seemed relatively good, but
gotta be on that good
of criticism. Like everyone else that made an attempt before them, this list was not accurate, not good enough. Why is it so difficult to make an all-time ranking that we can all agree on? I mean, we all have our own opinion, our own personal bias. Is it even possible to make such a list? And if we could, how would we even create it? Well, believe it or not, there is a method that we can use to rank every player in NBA history with shockingly good accuracy. It doesn't use any numbers or data, no formulas or advanced metrics. It is a method way simpler than you would ever think, and yet manages to get results with nearly 100% accuracy. Even crazier, we actually use this method all the time.
Want to see what it's talking about? Here
Today's
it comes.
video is sponsored by SeatGeek. Whether you're looking for concert tickets or the best seats at the game, SeatGeek has it all. The description to download the app and have the code tickets.
I need to also cop a mouse for this computer, so I'm using the mouse on the actual computer, but not the separate one.
100 NBA players ever
for next time. I got you.
Absolutely no
so it doesn't look awkward when I pause.
People were not happy about it. Among some of the more glaring complaints about Bleacher Report's list include Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, the now MVP, Finals MVP, and champion, not even making the list. Jason Tatum landing at 93.
I mean, bro, forget all that. Once I seen Jermaine O'Neal make the list, that told me everything I needed to know. Invalid.
Stockton ranked ahead of players like Chris Paul and Kawhi Leonard, and of course Kobe Bryant, falling outside of the top 10.
That was crazy.
Despite pooling their staff of NBA experts, writers, and editors, the results of this comprehensive ranking only left people confused and annoyed. Ranking players should not be this difficult, and yet it is. But to understand why it's so difficult, we first need to understand why every ranking, no matter how thought out it is, how logical the criteria is, how much data was used, always falls short. One popular approach that some fans and experts have taken over the years is the formula method. Create a point-based system and apply those points to various factors like career stats, accolades, and impact to make an objectively accurate ranking. A method that has been tested countless times with varying levels of success. Last year, John Hollinger, longtime NBA analyst and a man credited with creating some of the first advanced NBA statistics, created a formula to determine his all-time top 100 list. His criteria being a point-based system that put varying levels of weight into factors like MVP shares, finals MVPs, win shares, and career box plus minus. A formula that resulted in LeBron as the GOAT, Jordan second, Kareem third, Duncan fourth, and Karl Malone fifth all-time. This list also features Harden at 13, Hakeem at 19, Steph all the way down at 27, and Isaiah Thomas at 65.
Whatever method this is, don't ever use this in the future, please. Respectfully, bro. Bro, in what given world, now obviously this isn't something that Jimmy Holloway rated himself. This is something that's basically like, not AI, but kind of like AI in a way. It's like basically letting the computer and stuff. And here's like a dangerous slope this can fall on, bro. Imagine in like 50 years, if like not only just the NBA, but professional sports start using something like this based off like technical computer stats and everything like that. Bro, there'll be a lot of players getting jibbed of all-stars, you know what I'm saying, credentials, like wiped away from history. Bro, can you imagine in 50 years if they do this? And imagine seeing Curry out of the top 50, bro. Will the sport even be credible by then? Like, because, bro, what given world is Steph not in the top 5, let alone outside the top 15? Now, once again, disclaimer, because, you know, you have a bunch of, you know, little slow ones out there going to be like, oh, Floyd just did. No, I'm not saying Jimmy Howard made this rating. I'm not saying this is something that's actually a real one, but this is like a test if they were to actually use it based off of these types of, you know what I'm saying, credentials, etc. and stuff. Come on, man. LeBron, number 1. Swap that out with Steph. LeBron somewhere in the top 7. Bro, to put Karl Malone, bro, Tim Duncan, bro, first of all, Malone shouldn't even be in the top 10. He shouldn't even be in the top 50. But if it was personally up to me, he should be wiped away from any type of top 100 credibility, man. And that's facts. You guys know how we feel about Malone, bro. And then you got Tim Duncan, like, bro, Tim Duncan's a top 15 player, but to say that for the computer to say in these GOAT points that he's statistically better than Wilt Chamberlain, bro, Wilt Chamberlain dropped 100. Like, that alone should put him ahead of even Kareem.
Malone, 5th all-time. This list also features Harden at 13, Hakeem at 19, Steph all the way
Then you know
down
Bill
at
Russell's
27,
in that top 10 because of them rings.
Isaiah Thomas at 65. This Reddit user went through the trouble of creating an entire model from scratch to achieve the goal of, as he put it, quantifying careers using a formula that combines accolades with simple advanced stats while compensating for era and benchmarking, plus adjusting the weights of the formula against approximate expected rankings using least squared regression. In other words, he used a whole lot of stats and accolades, made some applicable adjustments, and put together an all-time top 100 ranking. The results came in, and people hated it. The glaring flaw in this method came in, all-time top 100 ranking. The results came in, and
damn, man.
Ranking. The results came in.
See, if Steph was in the top 3, I would have said this probably could have been valid. Where is he's at 12? Yeah, don't use these rankings either. Whatever formula they use for this.
The glaring flaw in this method, as well as every other method that attempts to be completely objective in its approach, is that it's not objective. Even concrete things like stats and awards will inevitably have some sort of weight or value attached to them based partially off of opinion. What is a championship worth, and how do you factor it in? Should there be an era tax on players who played half a century ago? If there is, when does it no longer apply? The 80s? 90s? Is peak more important than longevity, or is it the other way around? Even awards themselves, like MVPs and DPOYs, are voted on by people with their own personal bias. Creating some sort of formula involves attributing value to all of these things, but without any impartial method of weighing all of these factors without injecting some sort of personal bias, the pursuit of creating a perfectly accurate ranking becomes virtually impossible. So, what if we just remove the personal bias? What if we strictly use data and numbers, 2 important factors that have no bias, to make a completely accurate and nonpartisan all-time ranking? Well, because the rankings get really weird. really fast. For example, Box Plus Minus has Nikola Jokic as far and away the best player of all time. It also has Luka Doncic 4th, David Robinson 6th, and Tim Duncan 19th. But in the right hands and with enough data, and when used in conjunction with one another, a purely data-driven approach could lead us in the right direction. And this is what Ben Taylor of Thinking Basketball did back in 2017 when he created his top 40 list. As Ben says when describing his methodology, I won't attempt to balance Kobe's championships with Shaq, nor do I care about accolades like all-star teams or the number of Hall of Fame teammates someone played with. I also don't care about how many rings a player won. The very thing I'm trying to tease out is who provided the most lift. Instead of trying to assign value to things like rings and MVPs, Ben's list ranks players based on who provided the largest increase in the odds of a team winning a championship over the course of their career. Ben's specific method and reasoning is probably the best out there when it comes to seeking an objective ranking, using the best advanced metrics available and using them logically to find the most accurate conclusion. The results of this experiment were eventually updated in 2022 and are generally accepted as a really solid list without the outliers or massive holes that other lists have. The only problem is, this is not an all-time player ranking. As Ben stated, this list is a player evaluation, not necessarily a ranking of the greatest players of all time. And it's evaluating how good these players were, their abilities and their effectiveness in using those abilities, not how great they were or what they accomplished. A great exercise in determining which players had the largest impact on the court, but not the best method in determining how that impact actually translated to tangible success. For example, this method is providing evidence that Karl Malone had a larger statistical impact than Stephen Curry over the course of his career, but I'm not sure if there's a single human being on planet Earth that would argue Karl Malone is greater than Steph is. Using purely statistics and data to rank players removes valuable context that certainly matters when evaluating how great they were throughout their career. However, allowing awards and achievements to partially dictate rankings will inherently skew the results due to personal bias and variance of opinion.
Wow.
So looking at it through either of these lenses will lead you to inaccurate results. But maybe we're looking at this through the wrong lens altogether. We as fans are going to be biased. It's the very nature of being a fan. My team's great and they can do no wrong. So if we need to factor everything in, but we cannot do that without inserting some sort of bias, what if instead of trying to remove all bias from the equation, we factor this bias into the equation by asking fans what it is they value most when ranking players? If the accuracy of the rankings is determined by the fans, then so should the criteria. Well, that's exactly what this Reddit user did. Back in 2020, an NBA fan on Reddit took it upon himself to survey other NBA fans, 662 of them to be exact, on not just what's important to them in terms of greatness, but even what kind of fan they are. Among some of the questions asked were, how long have you been watching the NBA for? The most popular answer was 6 to 9 years. On a scale of 1 to 10, how big of a fan of the NBA are you? Over 80% of the results being at least an 8 out of 10. But here's where things get interesting. One of the questions asked was, what do you think is more important in a player's career? Team success or individual success? 52% of voters said team success and 48% said individual success. Almost an even 50-50 split between NBA fans in response to a very important...
Bro, I ain't gonna lie, I gotta argue with this, bro. Like, do you really want it for real? And it sounds so selfish, and this could be controversial. When it comes to basketball, I'm only talking about. All right? Now, for other sports, this is a debate. But for basketball, I'm only talking about. Bro, do you really want it for real? If you care about team success overall throughout your entire basketball career, whether you only last in high school or you end up going to the NBA, you play overseas, and etc., stuff like that, or you care about your individual success. My nigga, you should be choosing individual success like nothing, bro. Like, what are we talking about? Like, bro, you can average 6 points, 5 rebounds, 3 assists. Nobody's going to remember you in 10 years. You know what I'm saying? Okay, your team had 5 championships where you win the league for 11 years, all right? Like, cool. Your team won a national championship 2 out of the 4 times you was in high school. I'm seeing, like, cool. But, bro, I 100% rather be on a team, like, for example, that's like, you know what I'm saying? You in the NBA, that's 6 and 75 or whatever. I hope that equals 82 type ish. You know what I'm saying? Like, and have an amazing individual successful career, and that having that type of a failed regular season and probably not making the playoffs every year or winning the championship, than having team success? How can this even be a debate, something somebody even votes on? I think maybe some people's like mindset also, you know, I also got to put it into that perspective too, because some people kind of like to enjoy the ride type ish and like to just play their role, which is nothing wrong with that, because you do need people like that that just know how to play their role and don't want to do too much. Now with me, I've always been a natural leader. Like I want to, you know what I'm saying, see endless success, see endless, you know what I'm saying? Like, and sometimes certain people are on that same mindset all the time. So I feel like if you're only focused on individual team success, won't you only reach a certain potential? You dig what I'm saying? Like, rather than you actually focus on individual success, that individual success carries over to your team success because you're so dominant, you're so influential, you're so, you know what I'm saying, whatever. You see where I'm trying to go with this? Like I said, when it comes to basketball, in my humble opinion, you don't really want to for real if you care about team success versus individual success. Now, what is y'all opinion about that right there? I'm actually interested to see what y'all have to say in the comments right there, because this actually, in any Jimmy High Roller video, this actually is the most interesting question right here, because it'll show you a lot of where somebody's mindset is at. Like, this sounds crazy too. I'd rather have 5 selfish teammates than have 5 team ball type of play. You know what I'm saying? Because those 5 selfish teammates, those are the real dogs. Those are the ones that want to each average 20 to 25 points. Those are the ones that want to go, because them having that selfish mindset, but also keep it at a team level. You can't have 100% selfish mindset. You just got to balance it out. You know, that's going to bring up your team success. You know what I'm saying?
Different answers. Even more.
There's a lot of free game that I gave in that argument right there too, so don't let it go over your head.
What are the top 3 most important measures when evaluating who the greatest of all time is? The number 1 answer.
And I feel like a lot of these rankings that people don't talk about is that, like, bro, they're basing it off of team success. Yeah, that kind of has a factor, but I gotta be like under 4-5%. You know what I'm saying? Factor, bro. At the end of the day, we all care about the individual success. Look, my favorite top 3 basketball players of all time, you know, Curry, you know, is obviously one, and then you got Iverson and Rose. Now, excluding, you know what I'm saying, Curry, 2 players out of my top 3 favorite NBA players of all time, or right now, never won a championship. You know what I'm saying? But does that make them not, you know what I'm saying, highly successful? Like, bro, I've always countlessly said this all the time. I'd rather have an Iverson career in the NBA than have a Bill Russell career any given day. Any given day. And that's just facts. You don't want it for real. If you choose to have the Bill Russell NBA career, then we're not talking about money. We're not talking about, because obviously with times change, both of them, you know what I'm saying, easily could have got certain amount of contracts. We're not talking about money-wise. We're just talking strictly about the success standpoint, bro. If you do not choose Iverson over Bill Russell with the career you would rather have, why are you even playing basketball? Who cares about the rings?
Followed by number of championships, number of regular season MVPs, total win shares, and career advanced statistics. The near 50-50 split between the importance of team success versus individual success, visible in the almost even voting split between career stats and number of championships. One person can make their rankings based on how good a player was, meanwhile another person could make their rankings based on how much success a player had. 2 completely different criterias. So how exactly can we make a player ranking that is agreed upon if we can't even agree on what actually matters, or at least what matters most? No matter what approach you take, no matter how much personal bias or opinion you try to take out of it, the results will always end up skewed in some sort of direction. There's just too many factors, difference in opinion, difference in what matters most from fan to fan. But there is one way. One method that has been proven to be the best way to get to an accurate conclusion about things otherwise not agreed upon. What is this scientifically backed method? It's the exact one Bleacher Report used. Ask people, have you ever seen the show Who Wants to Be a Millionaire?
Let's play Who Wants to Be a Millionaire right now.
It It was a game show where contestants would answer a series of multiple choice questions, with each correct answer winning them more money and progressively getting more difficult until the eventual $1 million question. Now, this game show would feature one sole contestant at a time who had to answer these questions by themselves. However, each contestant was granted what were called lifelines, tools the contestant could use to help them answer difficult questions. These 3 lifelines were 50-50, eliminate 2 of the 4 options in a multiple choice question, leaving the contestant with a 50%
I ain't never watched this show a day in my life.
Phone a friend, where the contestant could call a friend live on the show for help. And the third one was Ask the Audience, where each member of the audience would vote on what they thought was the correct answer to any given question. All of these lifelines were valuable, but one of them in particular resulted in the correct answer far more than the others. The 50-50 lifeline, as the name suggests, got contestants to the correct answer about 50% of the time. Phoning a friend resulted in contestants getting the correct answer 66% of the time. But asking the audience resulted in the correct answer 92% of the time. By far,
I mean, I don't know why you wouldn't want to go with the audience.
Coming to the correct answer for any question in the show's history. And this is a demonstration of a concept known as the wisdom of the crowd, an idea that refers to the collective judgment of a group of people often being more accurate than the judgment of any single individual, even an expert. And it is an incredibly accurate method of arriving on the correct answer to any logical question. In 2011, the BBC network put this concept to the test by filling a jar with jelly beans and asking 160
Bro, I remember they did this in
how
like
many jelly beans
elementary.
they thought were in the jar.
Y'all ever
The
got this
answers
right?
were absolutely insane, ranging from 500 to 50,000. And yet somehow their collective average was unbelievably close to the actual number. After conducting their experiment, it was revealed that there were exactly 4,510 jelly beans in the jar. The average guess among all 160 participants, 4,515. Despite their variance in answers, on average, the participants were able to get within 99.9% of the correct answer. By aggregating the opinions or estimates of many individuals, the errors and biases of individual judgment tend to cancel each other out, leading to a collective result that is closer to the truth. And in possibly the most roundabout way I could conjure up, I think this same exact concept can be applied to ranking NBA players on an all-time list. Regardless of what the individuals value most and our own personal bias, if you ask enough people, chances are you'll more than likely end up at an accurate result. Better than strictly using stat-based metrics, better than the eye test or a combination of multiple factors. Simply asking people who the greatest players of all time are will show you exactly who the greatest players of all time are. And evidence of this can be found within the results of Bleacher Report's ranking. Someone ranked Kobe Bryant 18th all time. Their personal top 100 ranking is probably a little wacky, but this vote inadvertently balances out someone else who voted Kobe 4th all time.
Bleacher Report had
for every single player on this list. Someone had Jokic
Woke up
12th
violence.
all time. Another voter had him 28th, and everyone else had him somewhere in between. The range of votes for Charles Barkley are probably the largest of any player on this list, with one vote for him as the 18th greatest player and another with him as the 74th greatest player. With individual rankings like this, you'd think the final result would be a mess, and yet Barkley ended up being ranked 25th all time, right about where he should be. Can we make a completely accurate ranking of the greatest NBA players ever? Well, we can get really close. In terms of how we would create it and what it would look like, you're looking at it. This isn't a matter of opinion, it is a statistical principle. As Bleacher Report put it when describing their methodology, it's an impossible task, especially when confronted with the reality of comparing players from different eras. Stats help, but calculators won't ever figure all of this out. But asking enough people just might.
All right. Another Jimmy High Roller vid wrapped up. Yeah, man, I'm really interested to see what you guys got to say about that little debate that we had earlier on in the vid. I mean, bro, it's just like, come on, it's a no-brainer, bro. You got to choose individual success versus team success if you really want to, for real.